Hi everybody, welcome to Stalking the Wild Autoharp, and today we're going to talk about arpeggios, which I was just using in that tune Southwind at the beginning of the episode. But before we get into that, I want to just take a second to plug my Patreon up front. If you guys are benefiting from the lessons that you get here on Stalking the Wild Autoharp and you want to give something back, I would urge you to go over and check out my Patreon, where you can chip in a few bucks every month and it'll help keep all this going. I so appreciate my patrons who have backed me all the way in this series. It helps me to keep going and keep making the videos. So with no further ado, arpeggios. Arpeggios are what we use to give a tune that sweet, rolling, sort of lullaby feeling. And they can be used either in playing backup while you're singing, or they can be used while you're playing melody, as I was at the beginning of the episode. Arpeggios are also called rolls, and as you get real dexterous with them and real easy with them, they can go faster and faster, and they can turn into banjo rolls. But we gotta walk before we run. There are a lot of good reasons to play arpeggios, not just for accompaniment and melody, but they're great exercises for finger dexterity. You will find out that all musicians, pianists, violinists, flute players, will play arpeggios to work out their hands, develop the dexterity, and keep the dexterity and warm up. And you can do the same thing with these that I'm going to show you here today. To learn with, we learn basic sequences, and then we get all kinds of crazy with them. To start with, I teach several different arpeggio patterns that begin on the thumb. The first one is for 4/4 time, and it goes like this: thumb, index, middle, index. It's just that simple. You can do it on any chord. And I'll say T, I, and M. T, I, M, I, T, I, M, I, T, I, M, I, T, I, M, I. That is for 4/4 time because it covers 2 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Keeps a good strong beat for the thumb on 1 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, if you're in 3/4 time, you need to subtract something or add something in order to get there. Usually I tell people to start out with, try doing this. Add a 4th finger to the mix. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Or you can take that finger back out, just use these 3, but you're going to double up at the end and put an extra rocker on the end. If you've been following my series for a while, you know about the rocker strum. That's just this one, back and forth. And so you're going to go T, I, M, I, rocker, T, I, M, I, rocker, which equates to T, I, M, I, T, I, T, I, M, I, T, I, T, I, M, I, T, I, T, I, M, I, T, I. Or in 3/4 time, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. And if I'm not talking over the top of it, you'll hear the lovely double thumb going on. And it just so turns out that this strum is perfect for doing Amazing Grace. I'm going to try to sing this a little bit. Let's see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Notice that the thumb is moving in perfect time with the vocal. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. So that's the alternative to adding a fourth finger, although that works too. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Like that, okay? So those are the basic ones that I recommend you try to start doing arpeggio. Remember, for 4/4 time, you're going to use 3 fingers. For 4/4 time, you're going to use 3 fingers. For 3/4 time, you're going to use either 4 fingers, or you're going to double up with that extra rocker at the end. T-I-M-I, T-I, T-I-M-I, T-I. Okay, so another thing that I can add to this, I'm giving you a lot here, arpeggios can start with a pinch. And they can work in groups, like you can go pinch I, T, I, M, I, T, I, pinch I, T, I, M, I, T, I. Or if you're pinching, you can pinch with the 4th finger. P, M, I, T, I, M, P, M, I, T, I, M. Or you can pinch on every one of them. P, I, T, I, P, I, T, I. And what this means is this is how you mix melody with the arpeggios, is while you're pinching, you roll off into an arpeggio, P-I-T-I-M-I-T-I, or if you're playing melody with your thumb, T-T-T-I-M-I-T-I-M-I, T-T-T-T-T-I-M-I, like that. And so that is how, when I'm playing melody like Southwind, but it's a pinch, 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 I-T-I-M-I-T-I, or pinch, pinch, I-T-I-M-I-T-I, or pinch with the ring, pinch, pinch, M-I-T-I-M, or pinch, pinch, I-M-I-T-M. There's all kinds of variations of these strums and these arpeggios that will come out when you're playing melody, so they can be combined with pinching or thumb lead playing if you're playing melody. If not, they're great just underneath your singing as an accompaniment chord-like pattern. Really, all it's about, and if you take away anything, here's the important thing: it's about filling up the space with 8th notes from individual fingers. And so if you get out of sequence, just keep playing those 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and with whatever finger is there to do it with, or fingers, and you will fall back into the rhythm of it. Okay? Now, more on arpeggios. Arpeggios don't have to start on thumb, although that's a good way to learn them. Later on, you can start them at the top. For example, if you're doing a 3-finger one, in which case, instead of T-I-M-I, now it goes M-I-T-I, 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 M-I-T-I. Or if you're using 4 fingers, it would be R-M-I-T-I-M, 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 R-M-I-T-I-M. Those sound like this. So it's just the same thing, but it's upside down. Here's the 4-finger one. Now, there are two important things that I teach to add to this to make it come out a little bit better. When you pluck, try to close up this space, because say, for example, you're doing a 3-finger arpeggio. It's very easy for these 2 fingers to get the same note because they're the same length, but there's this big space here. So what you want to do is you want to close that space by moving this finger towards the thumb. What that does is it creates stretch in the back of your hand, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel like it is not relaxed, especially at first. The idea is to get as relaxed as possible. I'm making this shape that's about like cupping half a grapefruit when I'm doing it, and my fingers are shaping like a trident. Instead of like a U, I've got a trident. So I have equidistant spacing. That way you always get a different note with each finger. Here it's going low, middle, high, middle, low, middle, high, middle. And if you're doing 4 fingers, then you really got to stretch to get equidistant spacing. The other trick I want to tell you is that I am not plucking individual strings with my fingers. Each time I pluck, a single string may be ringing. That's the goal. But I'm actually strumming across about 3 to get that one string to sound. So a couple of them are just going donk, but you don't really hear that very much out here where you're sitting or where the microphone is, because the live string is covering it up. Which is actually a blessing in disguise, because it means we can be a little bit more sloppy when we do this. The other thing that happens is that when you are stroking across several strings, but only one is sounding, then when you change buttons and the strings move under your strum, you don't have to move your strum to accommodate for the moving strings. You just keep doing it in the same place. This hand stays steady, your left hand changes the button, the chord changes, but you continue to hit live strings. Now, if you do hit some clunkers, and you probably will at first, don't worry about it. Just try to figure out, okay, which finger was it that hit a clunker, and then just move it a little bit one direction or the other, and the next time it goes, it will strike a live string. So there is some information for you on the beginning of playing arpeggios. Play arpeggios every day just to get in practice with them. Remember to close up the gap. Remember to, each finger strikes a few strings, not individual strings. Keep your hand relaxed, cupping half a grapefruit. So, there you go, arpeggio strumming. Give it a try. You won't be sorry. I'm Hal Weeks. Thanks for stopping by and watching Stalking the Wild Autoharp. If you're interested in private lessons, I teach via webcam, right from my house to your house. And I'll be seeing you next time.